Regional Health Center in Barrie. And today our module is going to discuss physical changes after stroke. This module will review commonly experienced changes that can affect a person with a stroke. Stroke is complex, and this discussion is not intended to cover all of the impairments you may be experiencing. If you have any questions about how a stroke has affected you, please discuss this with your healthcare team. The location of your stroke determines what area of your brain is affected. A stroke can result in problems with strength, balance, and movement, and can improve over time, especially over the first year of the stroke. Generally, the longer the time from the stroke, the smaller the change you can expect, and the longer it can take to achieve this change. One of the most common changes after a stroke is weakness to one side of the body. This may also be called hemiparesis. Weakness or hemiparesis makes it very difficult for your body to control. Weakness can affect your face, your arm, or your leg. It can also affect the muscles that control your trunk or your body. These muscles may be affected in combination with one another, or the weakness may just affect one area of your body. Weakness is caused by damage in the area of the brain that controls the signals for movement and the areas that communicate these messages to your body. Weakness results from the inability of your brain to activate and control your muscles and is not a problem with the muscles themselves. Another problem that you may experience after stroke is a change in your muscle tone. Muscle tone is the slight tension that is always present in muscles, even when the muscle is at rest. After a stroke, you can develop what is known as high tone or low tone. Other words you may hear for this are hypertonia, meaning high, or hypotonia, meaning low. The amount of tone that you have in your muscles after a stroke can change throughout the course of your recovery. Spasticity is a condition where the muscles are tight and stiff and resist being stretched or straightened. Spasticity is commonly problematic in the arm and the foot and ankle of the stroke-affected side. It may be accompanied by muscle spasms, pain, and difficulty performing your personal hygiene activities like washing your hands or under your arm. After a stroke, you may experience what is called ataxia. Ataxia is a medical term that means a problem with coordination. It is caused by a stroke in the lower part of the brainstem called the cerebellum. Ataxia can cause difficulty with targeting, reaching, and controlling your movements. People with ataxia often have tremors in their arms, their legs, or their body. These tremors can result in difficulty with eating, grooming, or walking. Often after a stroke, a person may experience changes in their sensation. These changes in sensation may be one type of symptom like numbness, or may be a combination of a bunch of different changes in sensation. These include numbness, tingling, pain, the inability to detect temperature or tell hot from cold, a loss of an ability to sense where your body is in space, known as proprioception, or changes in taste, smell, or hearing. It is very common to experience changes or difficulties with vision after a stroke. One change in vision that can occur is called a visual field cut, or hemianopsia. As depicted in the picture, the individual with the stroke is only able to see one half of the picture or the environment. After a stroke, you may also experience double vision, a loss of depth perception, or blurred vision. Perception is the way that we understand the environment by processing and interpreting information that comes into our brain from our senses. People with challenges in perception may have trouble making sense of the world around them. For example, a change in perception can alter the way that you interpret the space around you. This might result in difficulty navigating stairs because it's difficult to tell the height of a step, or detecting the distance between objects, such as when you're reaching for your cup on your table. Unilateral spatial neglect is a special term to describe one type of perceptual problem after stroke. It's described as a lack of awareness of one side of the body or one side of the environment. The pictures on the screen are drawn by a person who has unilateral spatial neglect. As you can see with the flowers, this individual wasn't able to put the petals on the left side of the plant, and they also neglected to put the numbers on the left side of the clock face. A person with unilateral spatial neglect may only shave one side of his face, eat food from one side of her plate, not be aware of a person or family member approaching him from one side, or may neglect to pay attention to one side of their body. Apraxia is another difficulty that a person may experience after stroke. A person with apraxia has difficulty in making purposeful movements, even though they have the physical ability and understanding to perform the task. This occurs because messages from the brain to the muscle are not being processed properly. People living with apraxia may have difficulty using an object for its intended purpose. A classic example of this is using deodorant to brush one's teeth. They may have problems dressing or grooming. If you have apraxia, you might have trouble putting on your pants and getting them on the right way around, or knowing to put the left leg in the left leg hole. A person with apraxia can have trouble following directions and also have trouble learning a new task or a new movement. And stop.